Seeing Nicole that day was like spotting a snow leopard in the wild. It had been 44 years since I last saw her beautiful face, and there she was, sitting at the end of the bar like she'd never left. I nearly pinched myself in disbelief. A Christmas miracle, truly. She looked as stunning as ever, wrapped in an expensive milk coat and black leather boots. Her hair was shorter and grey, but it was undoubtedly her, as beautiful as ever. I stared down at my own drink, contemplating whether I should approach her or not. We were old people now, on the back end of our lives. What would I even say? So much time had passed. Finally, curiosity got the better of me as I walked over to her, beer in hand. Nicole, is that you? She didn't look up from her phone. My face felt hot with embarrassment. My fight or flight response screamed flight. Nicole, I repeated, gently tapping her shoulder. She looked up and we locked eyes, those lush, seductive green eyes that had captured a place in my heart all those years ago. Eddie? Oh my God, Eddie! She hugged me and I felt my anxiety melt away. How long has it been? I still had her the last time we met, so it must be ages. Nicole nearly spat out her drink, laughing. You haven't changed one bit, Eddie. At this bar, it's almost exactly how I remembered it. She wasn't lying. McKellig's was a splitting image of its old self. It was a family bar that had been kept in the family, passed down from generation to generation, dating back to my father's father time. It was not the hippiest establishment anymore, but it was one that I cherished, that stuck with its originality and its roots. It was my tradition to sneak out to this pub on December 24th every year for a quick pint. It gave me a chance to reflect on my life and momentarily escape the hecticness of the holiday season. I think deep down I secretly hoped that I would spot Nicole here again someday, and here we are now. Do you remember when we stole Gary's dad's truck and drove right here? We were begging Catherine for a drink. I chuckled. How could I forget that desperation? It's owned by her son now, David. That kind of thing would never slide anymore. We both laughed as All I Want for Christmas played on the jukebox in the background. Besides a couple of stragglers, the bar was dead. People off with their families enjoying festivities. What about this spot in particular? As I pointed above to her, the mistletoe hanging from the support beam. I scoped out this place, specifically back in the day, back when I was still young and I had game. Nicole's face turned a bright pink. Oh, I'm old, but I still remember. We exchanged pleasantries as I ordered another round from David. She was passing through to spend Christmas at her daughter's place in a nearby city. She filled me in on her life. She had two daughters from two different marriages and two grandkids, one boy and one girl. She pulled out pictures from her purse as we smiled and admired their cuteness. Geez, I have been talking your ear off, Eddie. How about yourself? What have you been up to all these years? Me? Oh, not much, really. I never left this place. I own all of the Rotterson pharmacies in town. Got myself a wife, Karen, and a white picket fence. We had a daughter, McKinn's, and she has two granddaughters that we spoiled to death, Chloe and Veronica. It was my turn for show and tell. She smiled as she examined the pictures in my wallet. We are planning on spending Christmas at Mackenzie's with the little ones tomorrow. Oh my goodness, they are so adorable. How old are they, if you don't mind me asking? And what race? They look so beautiful. Chloe is 4 and Veronica will be 2 in a few weeks. Mackenzie married a Filipino fellow. So they are my little halfies, I joked. Well, they look extremely exotic, so precious. There was an awkward pause as I mustered the courage to ask what had happened all those years ago, exactly 44 years ago. Why did you leave without saying goodbye to me? Nicole stared at her empty drink, rolling the dice cubes around. She paused and took a deep breath. I never wanted to leave. I had to. Nicole went on to explain that her father had had an episode. I always knew about her father's anger issues. Nicole would wear long-sleeve shirts to hide the bruising some days when it got too bad. That night was the pinnacle of the abuse. Her mother was almost beaten to death. When he passed out from his drunken stupor, Nicole and her mother had fled town. The jovial atmosphere turned solemn. It was a deadly atmosphere as I processed what I just heard. I just wish you would have called me once you were settled. It really screwed me up, Nicole, for a long time. I'm really sorry, Eddie. I was young and naive. She put her hand on mine for a moment. I was terrified he would find us. You know how quickly word spreads in this town. We both stared out the window, watching heavy snowflakes fall down from the heavens. I should go now. Nicole grabbed the bill before I could reach it. I'm sorry, Nicole. Stay for one more? She got up and paid her tab at the register. She came back with a troubled look on her face. I may be really out of line here, Eddie, but I would be kicking myself if I didn't at least try. She took a deep breath and handed me a folded napkin. I wrote down the address where I'll be staying tonight and my number. I leave in the morning, but I would love you to come over for just a friendly night. I shifted uneasily in my chair as the magnitude of the question weighed heavily on me and on my conscience. You don't have to answer now, just give me a call. She gave me a kiss on the cheek and left, the snow leopard escaping back into the mountains. We had Christmas Eve dinner at my daughter's that night, which I was barely present for it. Thoughts were racing through my mind from earlier at the bar. I couldn't help but imagine what could have been with Nicole had she never left. The chemistry was unbelievable between us. I could feel it running electric through me and through my veins. It was a feeling I hadn't felt with my wife Karen, not to that level at least. I still loved Karen and the life we had together. But if I was being honest with myself, it wasn't the same. At the same time, this was insane. I'm an old man. Had this been a couple years after she left, maybe things could have been different. But now, I had responsibilities, lifelong commitments, forged with my wife and children and my family. When my wife Karen was cutting the cake, I snuck out to the garage to make a call. Hello? Hi Nicole, it's Eddie. Eddie, I'm so happy you called. Listen Nicole, I cut in, pausing a moment to think about how I wanted to phrase things. I don't think it's a good idea for me to come over. I hope you understand, dear. There was a long pause that I rushed to fill. I have a family now, Nicole. It was really nice seeing you once again. Though I hope I see you again around town. Soon. But I thought you wanted to rekindle what we had. I could feel the loneliness and sadness in her voice. I never said that, Nicole. I just really miss seeing you. Another long pause. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Eddie, Nicole said sobbingly. I thought it was never too late for love. I guess I was wrong. Nicole? You know what? Maybe I'll stop by Mackenzie's tomorrow before I leave. A nice little Christmas surprise. See what Chloe and Veronica think about their granddad seducing a former lover. My heartbeat sped up 100 miles for a minute. Regret washed over me for even starting the conversation with her in the first place. Nicole, I don't know what you think happened here today, but it was nothing. It was just two old friends meeting each other after 44 years at a bar that they used to go. That comment sent her off. Friends? She cried, sobbingly, getting louder. Well, I see you tomorrow then, friend. 222 Greystone Boulevard. How did she know the address? Nicole! Nicole disconnected the call, leaving me stressed, confused, and a mess. I called back 2 times, which went straight to voicemail. I did not sleep that night, anticipating Christmas Day chaos, but Nicole never showed up. We had a splendid time with my grandchildren, lots of laughs and gifts giving to be had. Part of me was still very weary, afraid and stressed out what Nicole might do and what is she capable of doing and making my life miserable until I turned on the TV and saw the evening news. This is Channel News, bringing evening news and emergency news. In a scene right of a horror movie, local county sheriffs arrested the Black Widow killer, Courtney Darling, wanted for the murders of former husband, NYCA entrepreneur David Darling and career criminal Alonzo Harrow, along with a slew of other charges including child trafficking and molestation. She had been known to police for decades, going by many names. In an epic turn of events, she was tracked down by police at a small town motel in Halsway on Christmas Day. More information coming by in the minute as police began to unravel this Christmas Day miracle. The footage on the screen was Nicole in her mink fur coat being carried away by law enforcement. My jaw dropped to the floor. I was astounded at what I was witnessing. I would have never imagined that the woman I once loved so long ago could have been entangled in something so sinister and to be so close to such evil and hatred at such a magical time of year. A huge thank you to the writer of this story and the artist. Their website and the original post are linked down below. Please check them and support them dearly. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please follow my Instagram and follow me on Twitter. Have a jolly Christmas. And this is goodbye from Dr. Green.